Theoretical physics faces a persistent paradox. Pure, abstract mathematical models frequently predict physical reality long before we possess the tools to observe it. This alignment is often dismissed as a coincidence or treated as an external analogy we invent to describe the universe. The Unified Coherence Theory of Everything, UCTE, proposes this correspondence exists because mathematics and physical reality share the exact same underlying ontology. On the left, mathematics explores possibilities and necessities in a formal mode. On the right, physics realizes these limits as tangible thresholds. Both domains are distinct structural articulations of a single system, the coherence architecture. Coherence names the invariant relational ground required for stable structure. For any mathematical object or physical system to exist, it requires enough relational integrity to hold together before it can undergo any variation. This sequence maps the scale-invariant ontological progression of how reality builds itself. In this framework, pure coherence becomes preserved symmetry, which differentiates into asymmetry, dynamically orders into resonance, and finalizes as emergent law. This generative sequence allows us to trace reality from invariant mathematics through to physical matter. Pre-Galois algebra was largely oriented toward mechanical solution procedures. Galois moved the field toward studying the underlying structures that determine whether a solution is possible. This threshold is the symmetry layer. It demonstrates that mathematical form is governed by what remains unchanged during transformation. Here, an automorphism acts as a coherence-preserving transformation, locking the algebraic character of a domain into place. The hypersymmetric Galois group generalizes this further. It treats classical field extensions as a special case of universal coherence extensions, lawful enlargements where internal admissibility is preserved. Symmetry operates as the mechanism that preserves coherence, ensuring a structure maintains its identity across systemic change. At the other end of the structural spectrum, coherence becomes manifest as emergent regularity. While Galois mapped the invariant structure, Srinivasa Ramanujan revealed the explicit, compressed laws those structures generate. Ramanujan's work often achieved a state of formulaic inevitability, producing results that arrived fully compressed and law-bearing without a step-by-step formal substrate. In this context, phenomena like Q-series and Mach-theta partitions represent the visible edges of hidden structural constraints surfacing as law. These two mathematicians approached the same generative order from opposite directions. They represent the two mandatory thresholds of reality, the preservation of structural identity and the manifestation of explicit law. Mathematical worlds arise through the threshold stabilization of coherence. Discrete number extends into spatial geometry, which then complexifies to internalized transformation through rotation and phase. Higher relational worlds require a structural cost, such as the loss of commutativity in quaternions. Exceptional structures, such as those found in moonshine, occur where extreme symmetry and modular law converge with rare precision. These structures act as dense coherence condensations, priming the vast mathematical architecture to cross over into physical reality. This profound transition shows us exactly how pure, abstract formal coherence eventually takes on physical mass, energy, and tangible dimension. Within the physical universe, the potential of abstract mathematics funnels into restrictive physical bounds. Space-time is redefined as relational coherence extension, while fields provide the mode through which this distributed coherence propagates. Matter represents stabilized coherence, the persistent particulation of physical identity that survives transformation. Physical reality is the identical mathematical sequence, compressed and stabilized under physical constraints. This architecture includes the observer. In UCTE, observation is not the projection of meaning by an external spectator. Instead, it is a process of participatory disclosure. Within this framework, observation is an internal threshold event, the moment where a specific coherence regime becomes explicitly knowable to another, allowing the architecture to know itself. This synthesis unifies the symmetry of Galois, the emergent laws of Ramanujan, and the physical properties of matter. These are distinct threshold articulations of the same underlying system. Ultimately, reality itself is the generative, invariant coherence architecture that makes all structure, all transformation, and all physical intelligibility possible in our universe.